What's going on, you guys? Chris Wrestling Views back again with another video. So last night on Monday Night Raw, which of course this is the Raw review, we did see where Karrion Kross was back there giving some t-shirts to the New Day. Now, could WWE possibly be signaling that they want to do like have it Karrion Kross another stable, since he's allowed Paul Ellering, AOP, and so on and so forth. But anyways, you guys, we did have a tag team match where we had the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, Viking Raiders, whatever you want to call them, versus Alpha Academy. The winner will, more likely become like the number one contender for the title, but WWE didn't say that. Now, could WWE be signaling that they will be doing the Righteous and Karrion Kross in a group together, which this group, I feel like it'll be definitely perfect for Karrion Kross, because I feel like both of those guys will get along big time with Karrion Kross, and they will have the, the understanding and everything like Karrion Kross has. Excuse me, guys, my throat is a little bit, a little hoarse this morning, but anyways, still kind of curious about that. So we did open up the show where CM Punk was raising the finger up to the sky for Sabu, because CM Punk was around, when Sabu was in WW, was in ECW, excuse me. And then we ended up getting where CM Punk, he came out, he didn't really cut, went ahead and go to the chase and talked about where how Paul Heyman turned on him, and how Seth Rollins is, such and such, and he told Paul Heyman when he see him, he's going to squeeze the life out of him. And Paul Heyman definitely comes out, looks, and he smiles, and Seth Rollins' song hit, and Seth Rollins pretty much just telling CM Punk that, you lied to this guy, and so on and so forth. And after then, that's when Seth Rollins ended up whispering to Braun Breaker to, go attack CM Punk. And so that's what happened. The brawl did break out, which you're going to see here in a moment. The brawl did definitely break out, you guys, and that's where Sami Zayn ends up coming in, punching on Braun Breaker, as Seth Rollins had CM Punk down on the mat, punching him and everything. And after then, we end up seeing somebody coming through they end up seeing Seth Rollins was looking over at the crowd, seeing somebody coming through, and there was no other person than Jey Uso. So, of course, Jey Uso did come out there, you guys, and, did the numbers game and pretty much, squared away everything with that. And so with that, you guys, Jey Uso, he has a very big target on his back. He got Braun Breaker coming after him. He got Seth Rollins coming after him. He got Logan Paul coming after him. And later in the show, he got another person that's coming after him. And we'll get to that later on. Of course, the numbers game did come into play to where we're looking like we're going to have another member sooner rather than later, only because Michael Cole mentioned, he said, what else does the Architect have in his arsenal? So could be signaling possibly Sami Zayn, could turn on CM Punk at well, they did mention later on the show about Saturday Night Main Event, but we'll get there a little bit later on. And so, here it is right here. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn at WWE Saturday Night Main Event, which is going to be next Saturday, you guys. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Can't wait to actually see that as well. Pat McAfee ended up arriving later on in the show. Of course, celebrating and everything. And he talked about how he got a busted blood vessel in his eye from all the chops from Gunther at WWE Backlash this past Saturday. And of course, we ended up getting right here where Chad Gable fought Penta in a one-on-one match, because they did say that El Grande Americano, was over in Mexico actually wrestling over there. So, of course, I still feel like, man, this is Chad Gable. Look at, no homo or anything like that, but look at his physique, you guys. I mean, this is clearly Chad Gable. Like, I don't know why people are saying, oh no, it's Omos. I was like, okay, Omos got shorter and lighter, but anyways, that's something different. Anyways, this was a crazy move that Penta did. He did the looks like he doesn't do that little, the suplex kind of pin thing like he used to do, but now it looks like he's doing a like a Mexican destroyer now as his finisher. But he landed Chad Gable on his head, and I was like, God dang, that had hurt. I was like, man, throw the X for Chad Gable, because this Chad Gable hasn't had a match for about 2 months now. And it was actually surprising to, see Chad Gable out there after not having a match, like I said, for 2 months now. And looks like looks like we did get a segment backstage with Judgment Day, because Dominic Mysterio got on the phone with Liv Morgan. He said, she said it's like daytime over there, but it's dark over here. And then that's when JD McDonough was schooling him and pretty much saying that, the sun rotates around, the earth, and, there are different time zones. And it was actually pretty funny how they actually did that. Very economy there. Anyways, Jey Uso did come out, and he was confronted by Gunther that Adam Pearce said that it's whoever wins at Saturday night main event next Saturday, Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, will fight Gunther on the Raw after Money in the Bank, I believe it was. And so that's where Jey Uso was pretty much, doing the yeet thing and all that toward the end. But it was actually a pretty cool segment. So we're definitely going to see, because they want to run this back and do the rematch thing. And I guess this is the way they do the rematches here. And Jey Uso held the title up, right in the middle of them, with getting like a good thumbnail, which was actually pretty cool how WWE actually did this. And we end up getting where Braun Breaker actually went backstage, to attack Jey Uso, because early in the night we ended up getting where Seth Rollins was backstage, and he was whispering something to him, and pretty much that was signaling to go attack Jey for interfering in their business at the beginning part of the night. Now we also did get like this little glimpse here. And I actually found it online to where, they were pretty much doing like the split, of that group that you just seen or whatever, which is really no point. We've been supposed to have seen this. AJ Styles did pick up the victory over Finn Balor, with the shenanigans, from Penta El Cero Miedo, simply because, Penta still has, beef with the Judgment Day. And of course he still has beef as well with El Grande Americano. So hopefully we'll get that match, possibly at Worlds Collide. So I definitely can't wait to actually see that. Penta is definitely pulling out a lot of different moves and a lot of super high flying moves. But he hit Carlito with a Mexican Destroyer as well by jumping off the stomach or the back of JD McDonough, and I was like, God dang, that had to hurt. But you guys, it was definitely surprising. Jey Uso was back. Jey Uso, you seen him backstage, and he came out earlier and everything. So I want, like I said, Jey Uso has a big target on his back. He got Gunther, Logan Paul, Braun Breaker, and maybe even Sami Zayn down the line. We end up getting what Rusev, was talking about the Abyss, that he's trying to save people from the Abyss, which, the Abyss is, no more than the, AEW is what they are pretty much referencing to. Anyways, we had Maxine Dupree. She talked about, that Tozawa would want to face, Tozawa wants to face, Rusev or whatever, maybe next week or so, but he's not medically cleared. Anyways, we got some matches for next week. We got Grayson Waller versus Sheamus in a one-on-one match. We also have Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso in a non-title match where we know some shenanigans is going to happen with Seth Rollins and, CM Punk and all this other stuff there. And it's definitely going to be crazy. You guys actually see this match. We also did get where WWE announced that next Monday begins the Money in the Bank qualifying match, which will be your ticket to to fight at WrestleMania. I mean, not at we'll get ready to cash in possibly at WrestleMania next year or whenever they want to. Becky Lynch did come out and said that she didn't lose in that that Lyra lose because she got packed up and sent to the hospital or sent back to the gulags, whatever you want to call it. And so with that, you guys, Becky Lynch, saying that, hey, you guys wanted me to come back and, I really didn't want to come back because you guys didn't appreciate me and so on and so forth. But you guys, it was definitely very crazy of how they actually did this with, with Becky Lynch and her promo. I thought Bayley was going to come out, but we didn't get that. But the main event, we did get Julia and Roxanne Perez versus the Women's World Champion Io Sky and the former women's world champion Rhea Ripley on the tag team match. And now it looks like we were getting a split very early, with Roxanne Perez and Julia. Seems like they can't coexist after they after they lost or whatever. So it's definitely going to be crazy. But anyways, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky end up hitting their finishers to pin the people that's been attacking them for the past couple weeks. And I wonder who Io Sky next opponent is going to be. Could it be Rhea Ripley? I mean, I'm ready to see. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys, Chris Wrestling Views here on YouTube.com. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a good day.